Well, you've heard me. I've never known governments to be so big and so useless. And I really am sick to the back teeth of being the ombudsman for people who can't get a fair go. It's the same in Queensland, the same in New South Wales, the same in Canberra. Now, if you've ever travelled into Sydney CBD via Wynyard Railway Station, chances are you're aware of the Hunter Connection. It's a 3-level arcade linking Wynyard with Pitt Street, Hunter Street and George Street. Thousands of commuters use the arcade to get to and from work every day. It's lined with dozens of small businesses, coffee shops, sushi outlets, clothes shops, shoe shops. Get your nails done, get your hair done. There's even an old-fashioned cobbler. The construction giant Multiplex, under the umbrella company Brookfield, is developing the entire precinct. Brookfield, in terms of any moral equivalence in relation to this, in my view, virtually has none. This is massive. On a scale you can't get your head around. It's going to cost $1 billion, $100 million coming from the state government. But just to give you some example, the old Menzies Hotel, it's gone. In its place will be 6 hotels with over 2,100 rooms. No, that's good. But who is going to pay? Small business along the way. A new metro station's on the way as well, servicing commuters from north and south of the city. I crossed swords with this Brookfield mob late last year when they turfed out the Paxton family and their camera business. They told the Paxtons they'd have 4 months to vacate their George Street shop that they'd held for more than 30 years. Then Brookfield changed their minds, told the Paxtons to get out in a fortnight. Oh, they're lovely people, these people. We lobbied Brookfield, the City of Sydney Council and the state government and eventually sorted the mess out. It was a battle. We are happy with battles. Back to the Hunter Connection. I went down there last Friday afternoon with the independent City of Sydney councillor Angela Vitulkas. There is no person on this planet, more supportive and articulate about the issues of small business. I went down to speak with business owners. Angela's here beside me, listening to these comments that I'm making. I'll talk to her in a moment. Going down there last week was a horror story. Multiplex is going to close the tunnel to Wynyard Station for a minimum, temporary, 12 months. This is the main pedestrian thoroughfare in and out of the station, the main source of clientele for those small businesses. Imagine cutting off access to the McDonald's at Thornlea or Mount Gravatt, or putting up a wall to stop people walking in and out. They'd be broke in a week. Same thing here. These businesses will no longer have people walking past. Their clientele dries up overnight. It gets worse. The tunnel was closed last year for 10 days for minor works. The businesses told me last Friday they experienced a 90% reduction in money over the counter in those 10 days. So they know what's around the corner when the tunnel is shut off next week. Next week. Andrew Copeland owns Cheveux Haircutters, French for hair, cheveux, on the lower level. He wrote to me this week to say, at a challenging time like this, it's nice to know that there are people like yourself who care about normal, hard-working people. Isn't it frightening? That's what governments are supposed to do. Andrew's on the line. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Alan. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. You started there when you were 15.
I did. I was 15, very young, straight from school.
And you did a 4-year apprenticeship, and you worked another 6 months and then travelled the world, and then you returned to Cheveux in 1996.
Yep. And then I bought the business in 2001 from the old owners, David and James. They started in 1972, and I've been there ever since. It's been fantastic.
50 years. It's employed hundreds of people, trained hundreds of apprentices.
Yeah, coming up to 50 years, so something we want to get to because you can imagine how proud we'd be if we got to 50 years in a small business.
And you've paid millions in tax.
Millions. Absolutely millions.
And you've never asked government for anything?
Not once in my life.
And you said to me you've worked your ass off servicing the local community and you've loved it. But you say closing the tunnel could mean closing your business.
Yeah, well, we get it's up to 100,000 people walk past our salon a day. You can imagine the passing trade we get from that. We heavily rely on it. And without that, I think, we don't know what's going to happen, but we can take a pretty good guess and it's not going to be pretty.
You got 6 weeks' notice.
6 weeks. So, I mean, if we'd had 6 months, that might have been okay, but we got 6 weeks and that was it. There's no one. And in fact, when we got that letter, I tried ringing the New South Wales Transport and also Brookfield, and everyone just kept passing the buck. No one was interested in it. So, they're not our problem. Wrong department. Try again.
Unbelievable. You couldn't write this script. Andrew, hang on. Angela's right here beside me. Angela, this is where it gets ugly, isn't it? Thank you for your time and for all you do.
Not at all.
This woman is amazing.
Hi, Andrew.
This woman is amazing. But of course, if you say now, this is what government is like, you see. They cast everything. Everything is cast in a political prison. Oh, government says, don't talk to that Angela Vitulka, she's Labor. I mean, this is unbelievable. She's a small business woman, this woman, and this is where it gets ugly. Because government says, the Berejiklian government, and I've raised this with Gladys, nothing to do with us. But the notice, Angela, the letter telling these people they got 6 weeks is on Transport for New South Wales logo.
Correct. There were a group of people that walked around and just passed the letter on to these business owners, no appointment, no other conversation, no other consultation. While they're in the middle of their trading day, they walked in, handed them the letter and walked out.
But no one's even signed the letter. Just got the logo on the top. You can't know who to ring. No one's even signed the thing.
It was probably done on a Office Pro workshop.
Yes. But then they, like everything else,
yeah, it was a mistake, Alan, apparently.
Yeah. Everything's a mistake.
Everything that's in writing that comes from Transport for New South Wales happens to be a mistake, Alan. Unfortunately, that falls into my hands, the mistake. And they deny that it has anything to do with them. And yet, if you look at the contract that Transport for New South Wales and State Rail signed, they signed the contract for the redevelopment of Wynyard Place. And nowhere in that contract have they allowed for the effect and the impact, as usual, that this would have on small business.
The thing comes down,
the wall comes down,
and 80 to 100,000 people will not have access.
That's right. Stop. So the travellers will be impacted.
Yep.
The small businesses will be impacted. The entire area will be impacted. And this is on top already of the light rail route, on top of that. So these people are about to get a triple whammy. I went past your light rail route last night.
You can't see outside your shop.
No, nothing's changed this year.
We've had a lot of meetings about this. Just a quick one on the light rail. Is some money being tipped out to provide some compensation and relief on rent?
So there are about 65 businesses that have achieved some financial compensation.
It's like pulling teeth.
It is like pulling teeth, and it's an embarrassing and shameful process that these small businesses have to go through. But there are thousands of small businesses who have not received any financial assistance, who still don't fit the criteria, who have closed up their businesses, who have not been able to sustain. And you know what's worse, Alan? Newcastle Light Rail.
That's it. Same.
And the state government has backflipped.
Yes.
They said that they would help them, and then they've turned around and said no.
Well, I've got letters from Newcastle. Then I went out to Parramatta the other day, and here they are going to wipe out each street.
And they're scared. In Parramatta, they're scared. So this is a group of small businesses right around New South Wales. You've got RMS who are denying that their businesses have been impacted on the Circular Quay Wharf, 3 metres away from the other shops that have been impacted and that State Rail gave a rent reduction to. But Melinda Pavey refuses to help her businesses, and we're very grateful that Andrew Constance did actually come to the party and sort out that mess at Circular Quay, but Melinda Pavey refuses to, along with the 23 families on the Pacific Highway upgrade that she still owes $7.5 million in wages to. So what's going on in New South Wales, Alan?
She's paid the contractor, and these are subcontractors, and the contractor hasn't paid the subcontractors. I haven't had a chance to speak to her about that issue. But just coming back to Andrew Copeland, of course, Andrew, someone will say to you, oh, well, find an empty shop. Well, to find an empty shop, you'd need about $300,000, what?
It can't just relocate in a matter of minutes. No. 50 years this business has been there.
From Circular Quay up to Central, the whole city is a train wreck, and we haven't had people coming into the city shopping for years now because of all of this mess. If they'd just been able to do it in stages, it might have been better. But the fact that the whole city is a write-off, all of it, there's just nowhere to go, Alan. I went looking for a shop the other day.
Well, anyone who goes into the city can see what the mess is. Now, you wrote to me to say you'd be better off closing your business and counting your losses rather than moving and potentially digging a deeper hole of debt.
Yep, correct.
You've never missed a rent payment?
No.
Never been a minute late?
No.
He's a good business owner. 46
years of business, you don't survive if you don't have good work ethic there. So, and here we are, that just get 6 weeks notice on our 46-year business. It's a disgrace.
And the landlords didn't know either, Alan. This is a situation that is even worse almost than light rail, because the Hunter Connection and the Arcade is one of the last retail precincts left for small businesses in the city, and they're going to wipe it out. In a matter of moments, that wall will come down and these businesses will be out.
But Andrew, what happens if you stayed? The jackhammering would prevent you from doing any business anyway.
That's the thing we're scared of. Look, if the builders came along or Gladys came along and said, look, we'll guarantee there's no noise within the hours of operation, then maybe we have a chance. Maybe. but who knows? But I doubt that'll happen because last year we lived through it. The building across the road went down, and plus the light rail, they had jackhammers. They felt like they're in the shop.
Well, both of you stay with me. Both of you stay with me. This is unbelievable stuff. You people listening to me think we're making this up. That's what you'd have to think. It's 29 after 8.
The good guys.
All right, Angela is with us, this dreadful mess in the city, and Andrew Copeland, the hairdresser. Andrew, you finished your letter by saying to me, our business contributed so much to our society, and that's not being appreciated by the bureaucrats I inadvertently pay. It brings tears to my eyes to see it just ripped apart. What do you have to do to make these people understand, Andrew?
Done.
Eh?
I think they should come and get their hair done in the salon when the jackhammers are going and they can see exactly what's going on. Come and meet my people. Come and meet the apprentices that I have. Come and meet the staff and, just see that this is real and it's having an effect on real people. The people I feel mainly concerned for are my staff and the junior staff.
Oh, and your children? You got 3 children?
Well, I got 3 children, of course. I mean, if they shut off my, income, what am I going to do? Married, 3 children, got their house.
Well, I have spoken to Gladys Berejiklian about this, I have to tell you.
Oh, thank you.
No, I have, and I'll be writing to her again today before I leave here. And, Andrew, I'll leave you. Hang on and keep in touch. Of course, this wonderful Angela Vatulkas is the conduit here. And, of course, she's upset people, Angela Vatulkas, and she doesn't apologise for it. She's representing people whom no one else will represent. We're getting paid to do it. We've got MPs paid to do this. Yes, she's a councillor of the City of Sydney, but she doesn't have the numbers on the council either. She just is bemused as to how people can be like this, be treated like this. Angela, where to from here?
Well, today I'll be contacting the Office of the Small Business Commissioner regarding the Hunter Arcade and their plight, because that also needs to go through a formal application stage to make sure that the state government is aware of what's going on in case they haven't heard, Alan, because they've often used that, well, we've had no complaints submitted to us formally. So just in case, we're going to tick that box as well. So if Robin Hobbs is listening out there this morning, I will be in touch with her, and I'm hoping that we can accomplish at least a conversation to make sure that Transport for New South Wales understands the seriousness of it.
All right.
And Alan, you know how hard I've been fighting for small businesses across every area, not just any one area, not just light rail, not just Hunter Street or the Hunter Arcade. And that's what motivated me, Alan, for the Small Business Party. And we launched this week. We're going to fight for every small business owner right across New South Wales. That includes the farmers, Alan. That includes tradies,
well,
everyone.
Small business are the new poor.
Well, they are the neglected. And we are going to be the new poverty line with this massive infrastructure project that's happening right around New South Wales.
Well, we'll talk about the party at a later date, and you'd be a magnificent candidate. I'm always fascinated when people say we want more women in politics. That's what they say. But if Angela Vatulkas put her hand up, she wouldn't have a chance in the Liberal Party or the Labor Party because she's not in the right faction.
Correct.
This is a myth about we want more women. Here's an outstanding woman. No one she's forgotten more than most people know about small business, but she wouldn't be wanted. She's not in the right faction. Don't give me this rubbish about we want more women. No. We want more women who'll toe the line with the prevailing view. She's not a line tower, this one. Angela, hang in there, will you? And look, if you can help anyone in the Hunter Connection, go down there, do some shopping down there, buy some coffee down there, and you can go and have your hair cut down there with Andrew at the Cheveux, as in hair, CHEVEUX hair salon. And there's a website, Cheveux, CHEVEUX.com.au, and get out there. But how'd you like to be in Andrew Copeland's shoes? The Hunter Connection. Angela, thank you for that. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks, Alan.
Not at all. Colin, hello.
G'day, Alan.
Yeah.
A champ out of Factory PM. Now, listen,